Kaiju number 8 finally did it. The little guy's dark history has been revealed, including his chilling past with Kaiju number 9. However, it's not looking good because, well, Kafka's dead.
You can't keep getting away with it!
But what? How did this even happen? Last thing we saw, Kafka unlocked his secret Thunder God power and killed Kaiju number 9, right? Whilst this core was cracked by Kafka's clean hit, gravely damaging it, number 9 unlocked the forbidden Shonin power up. A flashback! He takes Kafka in for a little chat to get super intimate and reveal his secret past with him. And, well, our community cooked! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Leave a like on this video because we all predicted the ancient Kaiju war. We see Kafka being dragged into number 9's mental plane, much like what happened to Mina in chapter 104. But this time, we are treated to memories of the aftermath to a battlefield where many samurais lost their lives in the past. Look familiar? Well, Kafka thinks so too. We learn from Kaiju number 9 that this battle took place in the Meireki era. This was a 3-year time period in Japan which spanned from 1655 to 1658. And this is huge because there's quite a bit of historical importance we can learn by taking a look into what happened in our own world back then. You see, the most significant event from back then was the Great Fire of Meireki, where over 100,000 people died. In chapter 66, Hoshino refers back to this period when he explained to Kafka about the major Daikaiju cataclysmic event which reduced the Kanto region and majority of Edo to cinder. This again is a portrayal of the Great Fire that happened in our real life. Hoshino states that more Kaiju slayers died in this battle alone than at any point in history. The battlefield where it took place would later become Ryonai Shrine, where the souls and body of the slayers from then on are put to rest. This shrine holds an extreme importance because it's not only the place where Kafka trained, but also when he was first shown the ghost of the mysterious masked samurai, where in this memory we see a similar but broken version of his mask. We theorize that this person was a previous host for Kaiju 8 who died during the Meireki cataclysmic event. And now, number 9 in chapter 113 confirms it. We learn this as Kafka is treated to the sight of a baby Kaiju number 9. You see, these two Kaijus have a bit of history together. As 9 suggests, at first he thought it was just a coincidence that number 8 appeared before him on that day. However, that's far from true. We know that little guy number 8 had been preparing for this exact battle since chapter 1, as he told Kafka, "Found you," when he snuck into the hospital. Number 9 explains how, from the moment he sensed the little guy inside, he knew that it was a stroke of fate from a long time ago. And this very battlefield is what linked the two together. To understand this better, I have to use my deep degree in history, as in real life, the Great Fire of Meireki wasn't caused by a Daikaiju.
Oh, really, dude?
Alright, listen. The fire was actually said to have started by accident when a priest tried to burn a supposedly cursed Furisode kimono. This kimono had been owned by 3 teenage girls who all died before they could wear it. But when the priest was burning the kimono, a strong gust of wind spread the flames, setting the wooden temple on fire. This then, of course, spread and unfortunately caused, quite a lot of deaths. But hey, the key takeaway from this is that the death of 100,000 people stemmed from a priest. In chapter 104, one of the people shown to be possessed by Kaiju number 9 seems to be, yep, you guessed it, a priest. This could have been the first time Kaiju number 9 fully took over someone to start his plan. hands. After that, he had taken control over a famous samurai or kaiju hunter, as we see by this depiction. That being said, as far as Kafka is concerned, number 9 is just yapping his ass off, as he's totally clueless about all of this. That's when the mastermind number 9 realizes that Kafka isn't deeply linked with kaiju number 8 as of yet. It's like, are you really besties if you haven't even opened up about a brutal 360 plus year war? This is bad news though, because we must remember that Kafka's in a race against time right now. The more he uses his kaiju form, the harder it is for him to return to normal. For example, after his fight with kaiju number 9 in chapter 54, Kafka's transformation got so intense that one of his hands never turned back to human. Now, of course, he trained hard with Narumi to master the berserk form. However, even then, he could only manage it for 60 seconds before he entered a state of uncertainty. And now that number 9 has confirmed that Kafka and 8 aren't as close as he thought they were, it means once number 8's memories floods into Kafka, then there's a real risk that he might never be able to change back to his human self. In fact, that outcome could have already have happened to the Meireki kaiju host, because Kafka's concern of becoming a complete kaiju was followed up by his ghost showing up. Also, him wearing a mask with horns would have been the perfect disguise, so I doubt he would have raised much attention, apart from, you know, having those broken powers in that time period. However, the connection between the Meireki host versus Kafka must have been on a complete different level. We know this because little guy 8 went out of his way to find Kafka rather than just choose anyone random. Also, Hoshino stated that in the Meireki era, they had to use primitive ways to fight the kaijus, so the samurai host couldn't have been familiar with pairing with the kaijus like the hunters are in the present time with their suits. Who knows, the whole idea of this suit could have been inspired by Kaiju 8 altogether, but that's a different topic. But what I'm pretty much trying to say is that Kafka has more potential to tap into number 8's full power compared to any other previous host, which actually makes sense considering number 8 would have gone through a trial and error process until he finds out what makes his perfect host. Regardless, in spite of number 8's incomplete synchronization, Kafka is still crazy powerful thanks to the intense hatred number 8 has towards other kaijus. Number 9's statement of saying, "Looks like your grudge from back then was intense," gives us some clues to number 8's past. Firstly, number 9 can't be the final villain. Rather, it seems there are more like him, possibly under the ocean floor where the kaijus originate from. There might be a whole society, and number 8 must have either been betrayed or outcasted, where he then resorted to working with humans. But in chapter 111, 9 confirmed that number 8 is a completely different breed altogether as a kaiju killer. So either he evolved into becoming like this or was created to destroy the kaiju. If it was the latter, then his grudge might stem from the death of his creator. Regardless, Kafka is completely out of the loop and believes 9's babbling is his last ditch effort to fight on. So he's gonna end this battle here and now with his final attack. But there's no need. Number 9 just gives up. He knows he's lost. GG, it's over. Kafka got the dub. And so, with number 9's final moments swiftly ticking away, he reminisces about all the fun he had. He couldn't believe just how capable humans were at surpassing his expectations, ultimately crushing number 9's goals. Remember, it was Isao that made the difference. That being said, he does wish he could have learned more, researched more, get close to humans. It's as though he wanted kaijus as a whole to evolve and reign supreme over Earth, and understanding humans was the roadmap to achieving this. But oh well, he lost. Although Kafka's finding it all a bit too sus, because if number 9's not lying, then why is the little guy, who's not so little anymore, tweaking his ass off? Well, that's because it's finally time for all the kaiju locked up inside number 9 to shine. In chapter 104, whilst Mina was inside 9, she saw all that he was, including the 100s of kaijus. And now that 9's core has been destroyed, it upset his equilibrium. As a result, he will be reduced to a mere beast that only destroys. Basically, the brain of this monster is gone and everything inside has retorted back to its natural instinct. It's at this moment that a giant earthquake can be felt beneath Kafka within number 9's inner realm. The ground and the dead samurais around him suddenly begin floating to the sky as the biggest threat Kaiju number 8 has ever faced begins to emerge in front of him.
What did humans used to call this again? If I recall, it was the yeah, that's right, Dai Kaiju of the Mei-Reiki era.
What happened to the original plot of the movie?
This is a direct reference to the biggest cataclysmic event the world has ever seen against kaijus. But wait. What exactly is this thing? Well, it's basically an amalgamation of the kaiju that number 9 has been storing up inside for the last few hundred years. But revealing this is the same Daikaiju that caused the Mei-Reiki catastrophe means that after it was destroyed, the remains were taken up by number 9 before he escaped. This is the strongest Daikaiju known in history, with the largest death toll, and by the sounds of it, it might be able to utilize multiple abilities from fire to other types of attack. We can also assume that this Daikaiju is what led to number 8's samurai host. Firstly, his ghost only appeared at the burial grounds of their battle, and the reaction of number 8's seems to be over the top, like he's pissed. So he either was killed, or maybe he just sustained too much injuries, or the body couldn't handle the overexertion or something. But if you think all this is bad, back in the real world, it gets worse, as Mina's heart is broken at the sight of her man getting penetrated. Hey, oh, pause. That's kind of sus. Who wrote that? Now, obviously, I know Kafka's turned into a donut, but he does have shonen protagonist plot armor, and you know, he's the main character, so he's not going to die. But this might be the milestone which allows number 8 to finally synchronize and take over Kafka's body. In his battle against Isao, we saw 8 freaking out, but not just because he was pushed in imminent danger and, you know, he needed to, you know, react to save his host, but 8 also sensed Daikaiju number 2. 8's grudge seems to be against all of the kaijus and their strongest, and his Mei-Reiki Daikaiju in specific will need Kafka to go beyond what he has been doing so far. However, with everyone's fight ended, Narumi and the others will join very soon, and now that 9's dead, his control over Isao should be lifted, meaning he might once again make the difference in this battle. But if you guys enjoyed this video and you want us to continue going deep into Kaiju number 8, then make sure to smash the like button and watch this video next.